Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle D, or Coach Danny D, and I help women to create luxury brands by creating processes and tightening their branding. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease and enjoy your life. My happy space is spending as much time as humanly possible in my pajamas. And I want to help others to find their happy space while still running profitable businesses. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello and welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danny D, here helping women, leaders, professionals, entrepreneurs, creatives to find that space of balance, to find that space where they are feeling like they are reaching their personal success stories. And those success stories are comprehensive. They are not just focused on your business because your life is not just focused on your business. So today I wanted to just, I guess, share a little personal story, mantra. I don't know how to describe it, but so I posted something on my social media page, my personal page yesterday, and it was funny because I had just had a conversation that morning with a colleague. So we were just talking about business and you have some of those days where it just seems like everything that could go wrong does go wrong. And we've all been there. We've all experienced that where it's like, oh Jesus, what else? What else? And so I was sharing with my colleague this situation that happened a long time ago. And one of my best girlfriends, she never lets me forget it in such a great and amazing way, right? So this was years ago, and this is all just to give context, and then I'm gonna bring it forward. Um, Years ago, this is when like Noah was like small, maybe like kindergarten, first grade. I was bringing him to school. It was raining that morning, so you know, being, the mom that I am, I'm holding an umbrella over him. I'm trying to both of us be under the umbrella, but I mean, those of you who have kids understand that that's not always the easiest thing, especially when they're little and they want to control the umbrella and all of this. So he's dry, I'm wet. He's freaking out though by the, maybe two drops that might have got him, right? So we already starting off the morning kind of rough. And like I said, I'm wet. I'm trying to get him to school, trying to be careful in the rain. Halfway to school, I realized he didn't grab his swim gear for swim. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back and get that and bring that back to the school. But I'm trying to get him to school on time. So get him to school, drop him off, go, get the swim gear. I'm late for work. I go to pull out of the parking lot and there's someone parked behind me. And that person that's parked behind me, like I end up bumping their car trying to get out of the spot. Like they're parallel parked behind the parking spots. And that's something that's normal. It's not like they did something wrong. And so, but I just backed out a little further than I should have. I bumped that car. So I'm like, oh. And that instinct goes to what else can go wrong, Lord, right? That's the instinct. And, I'm just like, as I'm getting out of the car, to speak to the person, and, it was an older gentleman, got out the car, and he said, baby, you didn't do no damage to my car. Go ahead about your day. And in that moment, that relief came over me because it just felt like it wasn't even, 9 o'clock yet. And we were already like on this rough start to the day, right? So in that moment, I had a download, and it was the fact that when things happen, when multiple bad things happen, we instinctively string them together as, this day is gone. Like, this day has gone, or this season is gone, this week is gone, whatever it is, because we dwell on the negative things that are happening. And in that moment, I decided to say, if I can say what else can go wrong, then I can say what else can go right. And so that man gave me grace that morning. And I could have sulked in, continued to sulk in all of the bad, or I could flip the script and start thinking about the positive. And so when flipped that script, I noticed more positive things happening. So within the same, couple of days, like something, good happened at work. And then I, had a check that I wasn't expecting come in the mail. And so I just started anytime something good and unexpected happens, I say that now, right? Because I'm looking for the string of those good things. And my good friend will remind me every once in a while, she'll just text me, that phrase, or she'll just remind me of it. And again, yesterday I shared that with another friend. And it was so funny because three things, we always say like, bad things happen in threes, right? Three very good things happened in like a span of 48 hours. Lean into what good can happen. Lean into the positive spaces in your life. There the bad stuff is going to happen. It's going to happen. That's life. It's going to happen. Don't give it more space than it deserves. If you had a bad 10 minutes doesn't mean you have to have a bad day. Even if you had something happen that made that day bad, right? Like, sometimes it's not as easy as like flipping that switch, it's not just releasing that moment, after you've processed it and then release it. Sometimes it might be bigger than that. But again, a bad day doesn't have to be a bad week. A bad week does not have to be a bad month. So we can choose to pull back from letting those bad moments snowball. When it's time for us to be sad, when it's time for us to, in a lot of cases, grieve, when it's time for us to do those things, our bodies are going to naturally do what they need to do. They're going to process those things. They're going to deal with those bad moments. Those bad moments are inevitable, and they're going to take up the space that they need to take up. But we do not need to exaggerate them to the point that we are letting them take up spaces where we could have joy. And a lot of times we do that, and then we, have this woe is me type of vibe. Yeah, like, three things, bad happened today, but guess what? I promise you more than three things good happened today. You woke up this morning. Um, saw a butterfly. It could be anything that happened, or, you had a moment to speak to, a good friend. You um heard your favorite song on the radio. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world, but something positive happened to you. And if you choose just to highlight those negative things, it's going to always feel like, what else? What else? So I just wanted to share that, especially, I know a lot of people are going through different seasons, things changing. I know, shared that I'm going through like a transition, and that's what makes it easier is to focus on the good things that are happening because, change can be difficult. I don't want to say it's hard because hard is a mindset as well. If we say it's hard, it's going to be hard. But change is challenging. Change is definitely challenging. But again, where are you putting your focus? If you're focused on the negative that is happening, if you're focusing on the things that you're losing, like I'll give a um example of I got this from years ago when I was doing keto when I was in a group, and the um the the person in charge of the group would often talk about not thinking about what you're depriving yourself of. So not thinking, oh, well, I can't have fill in the blank, and thinking more about what you can have. And that mindset works really, really well for me. I've been, like shifting my diet. Please, for y'all that know me personally and been on my personal page, please exclude the last week. My child is in town and I'm cooking everything that my baby loves. But I've been changing up my diet. And for me, I'm not a dieter, like, in the sense of what people traditionally think of. I love cooking and I love um creating in that way. And what works for me is, well, again, not thinking about what I'm deprived of, thinking, shifting my energy to that positive. So I know I love fill in the blank, I know I love certain things. And so then when I make my grocery list, I'm putting in all the things that I love that fit into what I'm doing. And so then I make meals I'm excited about. And so if I'm excited about it, I'm not really thinking about, like, again, until I, decided to make these meals for my child, I really wasn't craving those things or thinking about those things because I was very excited about what I was having, right? So that's the same thing. We have to really focus on the things that are going great and stop tying ourselves so heavily to the things that may be familiar, but we didn't even necessarily enjoy them anyway, right? So, what else can go right, Lord? So, I want you to one, find the thing that's going right that you have not given enough gratitude for. So I want you to find that thing that's going right. I want you to sit in gratitude for that thing that is going right. And then I want you to call out what else can go right, Lord, so that your eyes can start seeing all of the things that are coming together, working together for you and start can like moving in that direction because sometimes it does also stop us from moving at our full capacity because we carrying all of this humdrum energy. Humdrum is not going to be the type of energy to propel you forward, right? So let's get some of this positive energy, again, hold space for when you have those moments that you just need to soak. Sometimes we do. Hold space for that, but be clear about when those moments are. Like, you know, you dropped your coffee this morning, and you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. It might not have been the best moment. You might have said a word or two, but you're gonna be okay and you can still have a good day. You can still move forward in a great way. So let's focus on that. Let's focus on what else can go right. And I love to hear what things you see change once you start thinking that way. So don't be afraid to DM me or message me and say, you know what? After you said that this happened and this happened and this happened, because I get excited to hear those things. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Um, Before I let you go, let me just share what's going on in the workflow universe. So um October, I want to say the 25th. I'll have it in the show notes. I'm not in front of calendar right now, but we have our goal setting workshop. I do goal setting in October for the new year for a reason, because I want to start off the new year ready and prime. I don't like to wait and then, sit there and January 1 trying to figure it out. I like to already be prep prime and working on those goals, right? So that goal setting for success, a system to keep you going so that we're not talking about New Year's resolutions that have been done by February. So if you are, ready to really make it your year, really see progress through the year, make sure you're enrolled in a goal setting for success. Um, we have the Capable Confident Challenge coming up in November. That's going to be the last one for this calendar year. I don't like to do programs in December because, it's the holidays. Everybody's on holiday brain during December. So if you are ready to ditch your imposter syndrome, if you're ready to deal with that internal confidence, and if you're not sure what that means, go back to a previous episode. I talked about the difference between internal and external confidence. If you are ready to work on that so that you are walking confidently in your purpose, that's where you need to be. Um, I just released a new graphic tee for the rich aunties. So rich auntie vibes. It and rich auntie is rested, intentional, confident, and healing. Right. So those are out in the graphic tee store. And I have a lot of different podcast interviews and speaking engagements coming up in the coming months. So I will share those as I get the release dates and the information for that. So that's what's going on in my world. Go out there and see what is going right in your world. And y'all have a great rest of your week. Thank you for listening to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with ease. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram. For more information about building your luxury brand, register for my upcoming luxury brand workshop at CoachDanniD.com.